Hi, we're gonna go over equipment, and I'm gonna start with your basic tools. So for me, my basic tools are gonna be this right here. So your medium hard slicker. This pretty much gets most everybody. Will cover most everybody. And then your comb. Brushes lies, combs tell the truth. And nail clippers. Okay? You also have, I prefer the Paul Brothers slickers. You have, of course, your smaller options too, for smaller dogs or thinner coats. I pretty much use this on everybody. If I have a real tender skin, thin haired dog, I will sometimes go with the littler one that's a little bit softer. And then these are good like for pads and feet and stuff like that. But for the most part, I just have this. This does me good. So it's up to you on what works best for you. And then, of course, combs. You can go with all different varieties. These seem to catch the best. And this I pulled out of my bather's box. You see that? Mm-mm. I mean, and they may have been doing things they shouldn't been with it, you know, like using it as a tool. But if you were pulling on a dog to bend a stainless steel comb, that's not okay. All right? Okay. Now, as far as nail clippers, Miller Forge is the best. You get one and you're doing it home grooming, you'll never have to buy another pair as long as you don't lose them. Okay? You can go with the cheaper version, but I'm telling you, they're not going to last. They're not going to stay sharp. It's good. You get what you pay for in most cases. Every now and then you can skip, but for the most part, when you're doing a professional job, you want professional equipment. Okay? So these little winky things, you get something big, it ain't gonna work for you. All you're gonna do is squish his toe and he's not gonna be happy. Okay? Then you have these. I bought these, a customer requested these guillotine styles. Okay, these are a pain in the butt. Because you actually have to take the nail and stick it in there. Alright? Here, we're just sticking it up there, clip it. The faster the better. Faster the better when it comes to animals. But then again, if you're inexperienced, I don't want you wailing around on the dog and causing pain, So anyhow, you're going to take it slow at first, but once you get it together, the faster the better for dogs because their patience level is not very, very long. Okay? All right, so those are nail clippers. So you want a brush, you want nail clippers, you want a comb. All right? Now, if you're dematting, there's so many options for dematting. It's insane. Me, generally, I just use my shears because they're usually in my hand anyway, and it's just faster and easier. Then, a letter opener. This thing works pretty darn good. It's a little slow just because it's a single, but man, pretty amazing. A letter opener, okay? Then, these are my favorite style of dematting rings. Andis is my favorite brand, okay? And you scoop and pull back with it. So I would say out of all the dematting tools, this would be my favorite one, okay? Because it's short staffed, it doesn't have long. This is what I was trained on, one of these. They're very long. So you treat it as a knife. You're cutting through the mats. So you're pulling forward. You dig in, pull it forward, and let it slice. Not rip it out. Don't rip it out. Okay, you're going to make your dog not trust you. You're ripping his hair out. Okay, so these in, and then they slice. They have longer blades to slice with. Of course, you've got the Safari brand, Paul Brothers brand. I feel like, can't remember what brand I used it, but one of them, it seemed to dig in better. Almost like my comb. Okay, that's an Andis comb. All right, and then I came across this wicky little thing. It's pretty cool for little things. I see the kids using it a lot. I never use it, but I thought it was cute. All right. Then, your shedding rake. Okay? This one's been used and abused. But these are excellent for shepherds. Those fur-bearing dogs to get out the undercoat. And I love how Andis did the retractables. Okay? So it's going to rake out a lot of undercoat for you. Like that if you don't have a heavy-duty blow dryer. Okay? Then you have your old-fashioned horse shedding tool for your sleek coats. These work real good when you have like a lab that is shedding madness and you don't have an $800 dryer. You can hit it real quick with this. Okay, works real well. And you have your old Furminators. Okay, so your true Furminator, it's a razor in there. And we used to use these a ton more than we do now. But these also are good whenever you're shearing a dog and you have drag lines. And like it's got some lining in it from the clippers where you either you had your setting too low or you were driving too fast or whatever, or it's not that sharp. Anyhow, these will help get some of that drag line out. Or if you're shearing, sometimes if you're shearing a dog that is not designed to shear, it will leave lines too. So these actually will help blend those lines. It really does work. Okay? We don't use the Furminators so much because one of my girls was like, why don't you use a rubber curry? And this on a sleek coat dog is absolutely stunning. I go with the true brand, the Zoom Groom, and it works the best. I have another one that has pointier nubs on there. I bought some off-brands. Not worth your money. Go ahead and invest in a good one. They're not that expensive, but these are amazing on sleek coat dogs. And then I believe they're designed for washing. You know, they're rubber. And we have them in our tubs and we have them on our finishing tables to finish out because they do way better than this thing. Okay? With no razors. And it's rubber, so it's nice and soft. Okay. Then we have our stripping tools. Our cheating stripping tools. Okay? I had people wanting to use these as dematters. They're not dematters. Yes, they have razor blades, but the hooks, you tell the difference. Okay? See how how it's hooked versus how this one is hooked. Okay, this is short and this actually grabs. Okay, so it doesn't release as easily. So that means you're tearing through that hair. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to release. Okay, so these are good for terriers and things that you want to thin the coat. Okay, so these work great. Jack Russells, Airedales, all those kind of breeds. Okay, now Dremel tools, toenails. All right, I went over the clippers, and of course, gotta have some septic powder. That one's very, very old. But you can also use cornstarch in exchange of the septic powder if you don't want to spend the money on that. That's a really large, very old bottle. You can buy smaller ones, which are more handy. Your Dremel tools, there's so many different options of Dremel tools. I don't tend to like the internal batteries because once the battery is dead, it takes a lot to tear it apart and try to fix it. It's really not worth it. I like the ones with the detachable batteries, and they just came out with these bad boys, which they got some oomph to them. I like it. Anyhow, but you can interchange your batteries. Over time, they do wear and tear. I probably have about 50 of these things, and they mix and match. The old style batteries look more like that. And they do sell the ones that you can put rechargeable batteries in and it clips over. They're not as durable, okay? I really like these batteries. Very good. All right. These, I don't care for the cord. It restricts you. And trying to get a nice, comfortable setting is a pain in the butt. And they're very bulky and heavy. Walmart does sell like a red and black one that's smaller. It's cordless and it's a style similar to this. A lot of kids like it, but the button doesn't last. The button seems to go out really quick on it. All right. And then, of course, you want ear cleaner. I'll do a separate video on making your ear cleaner. I keep witch hazel on hand. Witch hazel is excellent for the skin. Okay, and it's also used to do the ear powder. Ear powder is just for grip. It does not numb the ear. Okay, it's just for grip. And then peroxide. Always keep peroxide on hand. Never know when you're gonna have a boo-boo. And then spray bottles. Spray bottles, this has our Statsco in it, our conditioner, a light mist, over. All right, we'll get into clippers and shears now. We have, let's go to our clippers. You've got a lot of different varieties of clippers. I invest well in my equipment, so I really prefer the Andis XL. They're lightweight, they're small, nice for my hand. These are my favorite clippers. I have a lot of them. Used to use the AGC 2-speed. They're a little heavier. They're a little bigger. I do have a groomer that still, she tried these and they just weren't cutting it. Even though she has really the smallest hands of all of us, she prefers this one. This one's a little heavier, so any weight I can take off of my hands, the better. All right, then you got a cheaper version. This is the AGP. I don't like how the rubber gets a little sticky over time, but this is a little not quite as expensive as these guys. Personally, if I'm going to invest in clippers, I'm going to invest in a good pair that's going to be long lasting. But, you know, I mean, money don't grow on trees, so sometimes you got to make do with what you can get. So definitely go at least professional grade, not people, okay? Dogs tend to have way thicker hair than people, and it's a different texture too, okay? I bought these just out of curiosity. They're a piece of crap, all right? I don't even know. They don't even have a model on here. These are crap. But I still use them for bellies on really, really busy days. I'll throw a 10 on there. That way I don't have to change my blade. All right, my ultimate favorite, Mozer. Now known as the Arco, the Wahl Arco. Wahl is good. They also offer clippers. Anyhow, this is great for pads. It has 5 different settings, from 10 to 40 on your clipper. You just adjust it right there. I generally leave it on 40 because I use it for pads. But if you're learning, you know, we'll show you some different edging things you can do with this tool. And if you have something small or thin coated, you could just buy this clipper here and be able to do a full groom with this clipper on a thin, small, short-coated, you know, not short-coated, a thin-haired dog, small dog, okay? And then you always want to get a second blade, or battery, okay? And the same with your Dremels. A secondary battery is always good to have. I forgot to pick up the Osher clippers. This is what I learned on. Very heavy, very bulky, more of a man's clipper for a bigger hand. Okay, then you got your we're gonna go over our blades. I carry 2 sets of blades. Okay, so I have my cut-in blades, which are my old finishing blades here. Okay, and then people come and borrow my stuff a lot. So I have 2 cut-in sets, which is gonna be my 7, 5, 4. All right, so I have 2 sets of those. And then I have, for matted dogs, the skip twos. I love these things. So many groomers are scared of them. They are dangerous. See those teeth? They look ugly. Very ugly. So you got to be really, really careful with these blades because they will tear up some skin if you have the improper angle. But when you have a matted dog and they're like, I don't want it too short, you're like, well, you should have brushed it. But there are things we can do to press that old dead hair away from the skin and get under it with a skip tooth and then finish it in one longer. So for say I used a 5 skip, I could finish it in a 4 or a 3 3/4, same difference. This blade right here, okay, after the bath and the blow. So, or for say, I had to cut it in, I had to peel it off, so I had to cut it in with the 7 skip on after the bath and the blow and brush. I can finish it with a 5, okay? And then they also, the bigger ones, generally when they're matted, it's harder to get through, but they do offer the thicker ones, the 4 and the 3/4, okay? I do prefer my 5/8, my 3 or my 5/8, usually 5/8. I'm using 5/8 over a snap-on comb. I'm not a big fan of snap-on combs. Okay, but I do know groomers that are. I'm not against them. And then in a lot of cases, I will say, you'll just look a lot better if I use a comb. It gives it more of a natural look to it. And they have the 3/4 long, which is a super thick blade. I don't use it very often, but it's cool to have. And then I discovered these recently, not too long ago. I discovered these butter cuts. These are phenomenal finishing blades, phenomenal. I love them. I only use them on clean dogs, okay? So grooming professionally, we're gonna do it a little different because I wanna preserve my equipment. So my old finishing blades I use for cutting in. And then I have my butter cuts for clean dogs only. So if a dog comes in for a cut only, which is a home groom, I'm not using them. You're not getting one of my butter cut finish on that dog because most likely you didn't wash it properly. Wash it and brush it properly. All right. Oh, another thing is you've got your 10, which are belly blades, Sandy blades. 15 I use on poodle feet. 30 is quite clean cut. Sometimes I'll use these on poodle feet. And then your 40. 40 is good for pads or edging. That's a surgical blade. Okay, so you shouldn't be shearing down dogs. Show groomers do use the 40, like on a standard poodle. They will do the feet and the face in a 40, but they are very experienced at what they're doing. They're not gonna, burn their dog generally. Okay, so there's really, other than the pads or a little touch up here or there, there's not a whole lot of use for a 40 for y'all. If you're getting you a Mozer, okay, you don't need that blade. So if you're just starting out and for say, okay, I have a Shih Tzu and I like my Shih Tzu like clean, smooth looking, then you're gonna use a 7. But if you're first starting out and you don't know what you're doing, I'm gonna recommend a 5 or a 4 because the 7 is a higher cut blade. It don't have a lot of room between your cutter blade and your guard blade, or whatever the top is called. With a 4, there's a lot more room between the guard and the cutter blade. So for me, my beginners when they get to bodies, I really like them to start working on bodies in a 4 because it's way less likely for them to cut a dog than using a 7. A 7, you can grab the skin super, super easy and not even realize it. Or if the dog has, you know, a sore or a mole or something like that, you can whack it off before you even know it with the 7 blade. This is one of the more dangerous blades. So your actually safest, shortest blade is going to be your 10. Okay, so you definitely want a 10. If you're investing in a pair of clippers, they're usually going to come with a 10 blade. But that's clean cut. Okay, so you're going real low. If you're not sure the length of something, start on the chest. Start on the belly. Just lift the leg and hit him right there under the rib cage. Not here on the belly button, just because that's a high cut spot. Just hit him underneath or under the neck. You know, just make sure. Some dogs have flabbies, so be careful. Make sure when you're clippering, that skin is nice and tight. You don't want it wrinkled up because the blade will eat up those wrinkles, okay? All right. When we break blades, which it happens, that's what I use under my snap-on combs. Your snap-on combs can take a 10, 15, or 30 underneath it. So the majority of my groomers use this a set similar to these. And these have the numbers on it, I do believe, like the E. Okay, this is, yeah, A, C, E, 0, 1, 2, 4, 5. So your 5/8 is like a 1 inch. And it goes all the way down to a 3 millimeter, a 1/8 of an inch. Which a 3 millimeter, we can check right here, is a little bit shorter than a 7. Okay, just a touch. So you got all different choices. And then we have the bigger set from Usher. The last one I bought, the quality was really bad. They broke really fast and easy. All right. And then you got shears. There's so many assortment, like it could be mind-boggling of what you want. When I was taught, I had to use straights, okay? He felt if you couldn't make a circle with the straight pair of shears, you were not a groomer. So we all had to learn with straights. But once we got past that point, we invested in curves, okay? That's all pretty much I use. Actually, kind of a cheaper version. Paul Brothers, curve, scissors is my majority. 8.5 inch. You can get it short ones, okay? We got short ones. Here's some short ones. Well, these are the Paul Brothers. They're short ones. But once you really get good and you know what you're doing, you can't do a whole lot with these short scissors, okay? So I say, actually, these were long. These are so old. These are so old. They've been sharpened so much. They are now short, okay? Anyhow, when you're first learning, it seems like people feel more comfortable with the shorter shear, okay? For whatever reason, but it doesn't take long once you're doing it over and over. When you get real good, you want a longer shear. That way you can cut almost the whole leg in one swoop, okay? But it's up to you. What makes you comfortable? Whatever makes you most confident in yourself is going to be the best. Because the more confidence you have in yourself, the more confidence the dog's going to have in you. Because they read. They know. They know things that you don't even think they know. Trust me, they know. Anyway, those little blunt ones with the tips on the end, you need your tips. Those are a waste of money. If you know what you're doing, you need the tips of your sisters. Okay? I don't know. I think it's a psychological thing. People make it feel better. But honestly, if you get poked with one of them blunt scissors, that's a wider range, you know? Like, you're damaging more tissue with that. All right. Then, a very good thing for beginners to have is thinning shears, okay? These are, they come in different teeth. The more teeth, let's see, the more teeth it has, like the more it actually blends, the less hair it chunks out. So I call these clunkers, all right? Because they got the big, thick teeth and they take out a whole lot. So they're like the halfway point between a scissor and a thinning shear. A thinning shear is also known as blenders. Okay, so if you're not quite sure and you don't want to mess something up, use thinning shears. It takes a little bit longer, but it takes more to mess it up. One swipe with this would take 4 or 5 swipes with this. Okay, that's why I don't use these hardly at all. So I'm gonna use these if I want a more natural look, but the majority of the time I'm gonna use these because I'm very impatient and I wanna get the job done, okay? So, but a lot of groomers use these and these have a nice look to them, okay? So, if you're just first starting out, I would recommend just getting an 8.5 curved Paul Brothers shear. They actually dropped in price. They went under $100 now. They got up there well over, like, I think 130 there for a good while. All right, and then of course your organizers. There's so many different ways you can organize your equipment. I mean, they have cases. Of course, a lot of that's gonna determine on if you're just grooming your own dog, if you are grooming friends and family's dogs, you're gonna be mobile, or if you're gonna have a stationary location, or if you're gonna groom out of a trailer. There's so many different options. I'm grooming in a salon. My equipment never goes anywhere, so I like these cases here. And then you also have these style cases. They're real nice for mobile. They've got padding inside. Very nice organizer. And you could just use a traditional, in the very beginning, I just had a fishing box, where they organized tackle. It was like a tackle box thing. And then they also have these, zipper cases, whatever. Alrighty, so that's pretty much the basic of your equipment. And supplies, ear powder, nail powder, or a cornstarch, your quick stop powder, peroxide, gotta have that. Ear cleaner, I will post a video on making your own ear cleaner. And then witch hazel for the, skin irritations or whatever. And then spray bottles, they come in handy. This is what we use for the tape is labeling stations, that way they don't cross, because we tend to steal each other's stuff. All right. Oh, one other very, very important thing, which everybody should have, because you're supposed to, replace these at least every few months. Toothbrush. These are excellent for cleaning out your blades, or whatever. I generally, to clean out my combs, I'm gonna see how your blade gets hair stuck up in it. All right. So, my mom always taught me, take care of your equipment, it'll take care of you. And it's true. The better you take care of your equipment, the cleaner you keep your equipment, the better it'll take care of you. Okay? So, and then as far as care, your blade care, we've got Cool Lube. Some people may want to use this to cool down their blade. It also adds oil. I generally just put mine on a metal platform to suck out the heat if it does. Usually I'm quick enough, my blade doesn't get hot. And also, you're going to consider your setting. If you're slower and you need more time, go with the lower setting. Just gauge on how quick are you at your hand. And it takes time to build up speed. Okay, so don't jump in there and just, your blade's going to jam up. And then you're going to get frustrated. Your dog's going to get frustrated and you're going to be like, what was I thinking? So, take it slow at first. Handling is everything, okay? So handling is number one, but having the proper tools is almost just as important. So if you're just starting out, depending on what dog we are grooming, and we'll learn that in time, okay? Your first bit of equipment is going to be a comb, a slicker brush, a comb, and a slicker brush. That's pretty much it, is what you can start out with. And then if you, depending on your coat, if you got a short coat dog, definitely get a rubber curry. If you have a long, and then if you're wanting to do nails, you're going to want a pair of clippers or a Dremel. Depends on how often you do your nails. You let your nails grow out, you're going to have to clip them back. Because this right here, after you're trying to Dremel a long nail, it's going to get really hot. And it's going to take a long time. And then your dog's going to be like, nah, go away. I'm not going to let you do this. So you want to choose the proper tool for what you're wanting to get done. Okay? Alrighty, well, that's the basics, and then in time, we'll go over which tools you need for what groom job. But for the most part, this is a basic overrun, and you're gonna have to decide what's best for you and the dogs you're gonna be working on, and what you're gonna how much you're gonna do. Okay? All right, thank you for watching. Y'all have a great day.